Welcome to another episode of the Successful Moguls podcast. And on this episode, I got somebody amazing. And this man is an executive coach, is a leader, is a great spouse to a beautiful woman, and loves coaching. We promised you that on this show, we'll bring you experts from different industries and different spectrums that can help you when it comes to your coaching journey. Now, I just want to introduce my guest. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Chris.
How are we doing? Thank you so much for the great introduction, and thanks for having me today.
I don't think that was great, man. I'm still working on my introduction, you know what I'm saying?
Practice makes perfect.
Hell yeah. So, Chris, for people who don't know you, where did all of this start from?
It's a great question. I'll try to keep it concise. So I originally grew up in Australia, had dreams of playing professional basketball. I was obsessed with becoming a professional basketball player, so I learnt about teamwork, perseverance, discipline at that age. And unfortunately didn't quite make it, of course. However, I set up a journey on travel. So when I was around 20, I think it was early 20s, I decided to move to the UK with a friend of mine. At that point, hadn't really traveled, and that was the catalyst for me, and it helped propel me forward really into the person that I am today. From living in the UK, traveling throughout Europe, having an incredible time. From there, I was just enamored with travel. I moved back to Australia begrudgingly, and I was like, where can I go to next? Where on this world can I keep traveling to? So ended up in Vancouver, British Columbia. For anyone who hasn't been to Vancouver, British Columbia, check it out. One of the most beautiful cities in the world. I lived there for a better part of 8 years, started working in the travel industry there. And from there I moved to Toronto, continued working in the travel industry. I've been here for 7 years now in Toronto. Just recently celebrated 15 years in Canada. And from there, I've become an executive coach that's morphed into speaking and helping people really thriving as leaders professionally at work and also at home. So I love what I do. I love helping people win, and I'm still in the travel industry, as you mentioned as well. So really, really grateful for my journey so far, and the better part of it is that I just feel I have so much in front of me as well.
I'm going to ask you my next question. And this question has to do with your experiences.
Yes.
I have been opportunity to live in 3 continents too, and I've been around. So I know definitely traveling affects you differently.
Yes.
So what's the difference in living in Australia, Europe, and Canada?
There's some elements that are different. Let me give you a different answer in a way that traveling is the best thing that you can do. It's the best education available to you. It's the best MBA you can have in life. It teaches you a lot about resilience, empathy, yourself, and also growth. It just really pushes you out of your comfort zone. So in terms of living in each of those different continents, when it comes to Europe, Canada, and Australia, they're all similar in a lot of ways, but also different. Europe was a lot more, not laid back, it was just more casual. At that period of my life, I was 20, I was carefree, I wasn't really caring too much about my career. At that point in my life, all I was concerned about was having a great time with my friends and traveling throughout Europe. So living in London, which is one of my favorite cities in the world,
Yeah.
I didn't fully embrace it for what it was. However, it was just such a great time to be there in a vibrant city, and learned so much about myself and where I wanted to be as well. And then moving to Canada, really similar. They're all British Commonwealth countries in a lot of ways.
Yep.
Also different in their nuances as well.
And cultures. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So where did you start coaching? Where and when?
Where and when? So it goes back to 2020, a time where we had the pandemic, those forgotten years in a lot of ways. For anyone who was in North America or Canada specifically, you remember it well because we spent a long period of it in lockdown, specifically here in Ontario, and the travel industry was decimated. The whole world had been shut down. And halfway through 2020, we had to lay off 90% of our staff, which was an excruciating process to go through that. And as it continued to prolong the pandemic, we thought it was going to be a month, 2 months, and it kept on going and going, right? It seemed like it was never going to really stop with different restrictions being lifted and so forth. So it just decimated the travel industry. And regardless of me holding a senior leader position, we were told, start thinking about plan B. Have a think about plan B, potentially. So at that point, I lived by myself, had a lot of time for introspection. I did a lot of research, asked people for feedback on what I did well. And for me, the next role that I wanted to do was something where I felt I was making the biggest impact. And that landed on coaching. So at the start of 2021, I took a coaching course with the Jay Shetty Certification School. I became a certified life and success coach. And then I started coaching anyone who would allow me to at that point. And since then, it's been an incredibly rewarding and fulfilling process as I've had the opportunity to work with over 50 people now.
Oh, that's awesome. And part of what we're trying to do on this channel is to help people who are the experts, doing one-on-one in the real world, transition into online coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like you to share with us what it was like transitioning, because your framework or whatever you do, the results that you got people was different working corporate. But when you became a coach, I know you were forced to learn a whole lot of stuff, sales, funnels, all of those extra stuff. How did you cope with the transition?
Truthfully, I'm still learning. It's an ongoing process. I think at the start, I made the mistake of thinking that simply because I'm a certified coach, that people would naturally gravitate. You work towards these certifications and you're like, all right, perfect. Clients will start rolling in. No one cares. The reality is no one cares. And that was a mistake I made early on for sure. And I think for me, it was just really about the mindset of figuring things out as you go along. I think that is really the mindset that you have to have. You have to keep failing, iterating, figuring out what works for you is key, and just really listen to your customers. If you have the opportunity to listen to customers, understand what their biggest pain points are, and just work towards that. That the customer is your king with of course the success of your business, but they're also going to tell you what they need help with. So ask those questions. And if you don't have any clients already, ask your friends, ask your families, ask former colleagues. They'll help you tap into the problems that they have, and then it's up to you to come up with a solution to support that.
So when you started, did you get customers off the bat? Like, I'm talking about paid customers, or you did a couple of friends and family before you started getting real customers?
It's a grind at the start. I think if I go back to that time when I was first starting out, as I said at the top, I had to ask anyone and everyone to work with me. I'd reach out to friends, family, and say, do you want some coaching? And I would just coach them, not without any investment on their behalf as well. Or for some people, I would ask, would you work for free? In return, all I ask is a testimonial. These are the type of things that you have to do early on.
Yep.
To build up your brand. You have to build up your brand. You have to put in those hard yards at the start in order to do that. And as you get more confident with the process and as you get more results, then start charging more. Start low, build your confidence, get the wins, and then it's just one thing after the other.
I'm glad you said that because a lot of people don't understand that it takes competence to become confident. A lot of people think you just get up out in the world, open up your mouth, and people will just flock to you. Like you said, it doesn't work out that way.
No.
So, as regards to scaling and marketing, do you have any tricks that you use in your coaching program?
So for me, I've done many different things. Again, as an entrepreneur, I've failed and iterated and changed my approach different times. I would say one of the biggest things if you're starting out as a coach is not to get caught up in the shiny ball syndrome. There's always going to be a lot of trends, and you want to jump on this trend and you want to jump on this other trend as well. Really be narrow with your focus when you start out. I made the mistake of going on 4 platforms. I think I was on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, doing all of these things. And I quickly learnt, or not quickly, I should say, after a period of time, you can't do 4 things well. Typically, when it's just yourself, if you're starting out as an entrepreneur and you're doing something else as well, you can't put out good quality across platforms. You can potentially, if you're repurposing different types of content, you can be strategic that way. But by focusing on so many different things, the quality has to drop somewhere. So I would say focus on one platform, nail that, and then move to the next platform.
Awesome. What's your take on paid ads?
Never done it so far. So I don't have a lot to share in that. I would say before you start doing that, really start to understand the investment side of it, depending how much money you have as well. What is the ROI as well? Ask people. I would say one of the best investments I made before jumping into paid ads or anything like that was to work with a business coach. Work with someone who's done that to help speed up the process. That was huge for me. So before you start thinking about paid ads, focus on someone who's been where you want to be, either through business coaching or through your network, and ask them for advice.
Just to kind of reiterate whatever you're saying first, you want to become a mentor, you need a mentor.
Yeah, if to help speed up the process, I'm saying either work with a coach or a mentor who's definitely going to help you understand from someone who's been in that position where you want to be. So if you have someone in your network or a family member or friend, leverage that. If you don't, you have to pay for it. It will be a worthwhile investment, I assure you of that.
And the next step is never spend money on paid ads until you get organic working for you. Because you got to test your messaging, you got to test your framework, you got to test your results before you start making investments like that.
For sure. I know there's a lot of people that push paid ads, and I've done it in my business, in my paid job, working as well. We've done it. There's definitely benefits to it as well. However, before you go down that route, really be crystal clear on your messaging before you're making that investment. Test things, try out different things, see how it goes. However, before you do that, just make sure you're really crystal clear on that message.
How real is financial drought when it comes to coaching? And what I mean is month to month, because a lot of people think just because I sold 2-3 programs last month, it's the same result I'm going to get month in, month out, only for them to realize you can go for months without making a sale. So how real is that when it comes to your experience?
It's a tough one for me, as I do coaching right now as a side hustle, and I'm doing it with the goal to build it into a full-time role. I love coaching. I love helping people to win. So for me, it's about working with as many people as possible within the capacity that I have. So with coaching, depending on your approach to it, it may differ. You want to be looking at making residual income, however that may be. We're in an infinite time now where you can sell digital products. So if you're providing a digital product, you can earn income while you sleep as well, in addition to your program. That's a huge thing. The thing about the program is typically it's 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. you need to always be replenishing that income. So what can you be doing to supplement that as well? There's a lot of different things you can do. So depending on your skill set, or you can outsource it as well. Have a think about what would work for you and your ideal customer.
In clear terms, who do you attract? And yes, and what do you help them with?
So for me, I've been fortunate to work with people from EAs to executives in various different industries. I haven't niched down specifically just yet. So right now, I'm working with someone in middle management who's looking to potentially step out of their career. They've been in their company for 25 years. So it's unique to the individual. However, coaching is really, in the simplest form, is getting someone who is at point A to point B. Wherever they're at right now, they've got a pain point and they're hoping to overcome that. It can be pivoting to a new career, dealing with work-life balance, prioritization, conflict resolution. There's a number of different things that I help people with. However, it's always unique to the individual.
Awesome. You also mentioned that you're coaching as a side hustle for you. That means you got your earned income from your job.
Yes.
First question, how do you balance work and life? And second question, would you advise people to always have an earned income when they start out their coaching journey, or just fire their boss and go and dive into the practice?
Great question. I think everyone's journey is different. So you need to understand what works for you. For me right now, I have a full-time demanding role as an executive for a travel management company while I do the coaching. I make the coaching work through making my coaching availability available in the evenings and also on the weekends. So I coach people tonight, for example, after I finish work, or on the weekends. So I typically have 4 or 5 sessions during each week, and then I have time to spend with my girlfriend and do things that I enjoy outside of that as well. It works for me. Everyone's different, so you have to find that balance to ensure that you're filling your cup in your own way. And in terms of the financial piece, I remember, and I've heard good advice saying, before you jump in fully, you need to have around 30% of your ideal income that you're earning from the coaching business before you make that leap into it full time. I think that's relevant to some people. It may not be relevant to all people, where if you're truly passionate about it, jump in head first and you'll quickly figure it out. I saw a great post on LinkedIn to add to this as well, where it said, you can always go back to your job. You can't go back in time.
For real. I love that. Guys, you heard it. You can always go back to your job, but you can never go back in time. Did I say it right?
Correct.
I mean, it's important that we understand that. For me, I'll tell you this. My school of thought is you need an earned income.
Yeah.
If you have investments, that's good. If you got savings, and like you said, you have that money and you want to jump into it, awesome. Nobody can truly tell you how long it's going to take you to get to a place where coaching can definitely take care of your bills, take care of you, and take care of the overheads. So when people ask me in my community, I just tell them, listen, you might want to keep your job, make coaching a side hustle, be like Chris. When your coaching picks up, starts paying itself, paying you, that's the time that I'll advise that you exit, because it's tough to pay for tools, keep your funnels running, pay for mentorship, employ the skills of experts, even if it's a web designer or anything, even if it's on Fiverr, if you don't have earned income coming in. It's just going to be hard for you to focus on solving problems for others when you got real issues. That would be my thoughts, and that's the way I ask people. Only if your job is truly, some people have jobs that, like you said, it all depends on who, where your job is just in the way.
Yeah.
There are jobs that you have and you can't do anything. You probably leave very early in the morning, commute 2 3 hours to get to your job, even if it's for 5 minutes.
Yes.
Spend the day at work, exhausted, and has to go through traffic. For another 2 3 hours. By the time you make it back home, your day's gone. But even with that, if people are truly serious, I still think they can push it to weekend.
Yeah.
You know. So tell me, what do you do for fun?
Sorry, say that again.
What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? Oh,
I know you spend good time with the lady, but what else do you do for fun?
she's great. She's great.
I can tell.
For fun, I love hanging out with my friends, of course. I love traveling. That's why I'm in the travel industry.
Makes sense.
And I love coaching. It's a pure passion for me. I love doing that as part of what I do. I also write a lot now as well. I set a goal for myself at the start of 2024 to post content on LinkedIn, which I do now 5 days a week. So
Awesome.
that's something that I do enjoy doing as well, is really becoming a better writer, building connections there, and growing my personal brand, which has opened up a lot of opportunities for me, and I've met so many amazing people. So having fun is hanging out with my friends, my girlfriend, enjoying life.
So tell me, you have a beautiful life already. So how is LinkedIn working out for you? And for people who want to use LinkedIn, who want to choose LinkedIn as their platform to reach out, first question, what would you say they need to pay attention to? And why should they pick LinkedIn over other platforms?
Great question. I think LinkedIn is a platform. It is a social media platform at the end of the day. However, my experience that I've found on LinkedIn, it feels a lot more community based, and people really want to help you win there. It is seen by a lot of people as a stuffy platform, mostly used for updating your resume and sharing professional achievements as well. However, you have a lot of fantastic creators there, and it's an opportunity for you to express yourself at the end of the day. You can do that across all the different mediums depending on what you feel comfortable in. I just believe there is a great opportunity, especially for coaches. It is a B2B platform. You have the ability to connect with people across the globe. Envision that you're at a networking event. This is the platform that you have with LinkedIn. You just have to open those doors to meet people through making those connections, supporting people's content, writing content potentially yourself. So I think it's just such a great platform to meet people and to help yourself grow as well.
Now, this is the part of the content that I ask you this. What can people learn from Chris?
For me, I'm passionate about leadership. I'm passionate about coaching. I'm passionate about personal growth. So I share insights about my journey over the last 43 years now. I've also been fortunate to live in 3 continents, as I've touched on as well. I've traveled extensively. I've worked with people in many different dynamic cultures. So I think I bring a global experience and a wealth of knowledge when it comes to leadership. So those are the insights that I mostly share with everyone, is just around leadership and having a people approach to leadership as well. I think regardless of this rapid evolution of AI, the human element will continue to be prominent. Emotional intelligence, critical thinking, those are going to be even more critical as we move forward into this new age as well.
That was beautiful. Now, what are your last words? And this will be my last question to you tonight. Chris, tell me this. What does it take to become a leader?
Another great question. One of my favorite quotes sums it up beautifully, I think, and I'll share it with you. It's by Jack Walsh. Before you're in leadership, success is about yourself. When you step into leadership, success is about others.
Well, there's no better way to end it. I'll say this. As long as you're on a coaching journey or you started this whole process of helping others, the core thing is to understand that we help people. It's less about us, just to buttress what you're saying, and it's more about the people that we serve. Chris, my brother, I just want to appreciate you for being part of this episode. Everybody, this is Chris. Chris, where can we find you?
Thank you again for the great conversation, for having me today. The best place to connect with me is on LinkedIn. As I mentioned earlier, I post there 4 to 5 days a week. So feel free to reach out, connect with me, ask me a question, tell me what's going on in your life. Always love connecting with new people.
All right, guys, you heard it. The link will be posted at the bottom of this video. And Chris, thank you once again. I'll see you.
See you soon.
All right then. Bye.